It is simply the biggest. 200,000 people attending, more than 2,000 exhibitors, more than 1 million square feet of convention space. What could it be but Comdex? The biggies are here, Intel, Microsoft, IBM, and Apple, and the wannabes are here. Lots of small startup companies from around the world demoing products they hope will be the next killer applications. Today we'll take you on a guided tour of Comdex 94 here in chilly Las Vegas on the special edition of the Computer Chronicles.
Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by Hewlett-Packard, working with industry leaders to ensure compatibility across the board and across the network. HP PCs, you're looking at partnership in a whole new light.
Additional funding is provided by LaserJet printers from Hewlett-Packard. Everything from a new color solution to models designed specifically for small businesses. HP LaserJet printers. You do your job, we'll do ours. And the Software Publishers Association.
Welcome to the Computer Chronicles. I'm Stewart Cheifet, and with me, the most quoted analyst in the computer industry, Tim Baharin. And we're here on the floor of Comdex 94 in Las Vegas. Tim, 200,000 people here at this Comdex, and everybody's talking about Windows 95.
Yeah, this is the real theme of the show. People are coming to figure out what Win 95 is all about. They want to see what all the applications are, and they want to get a better understanding of what they should do with it when Microsoft finally ships this sometime next year.
Tim, what about PowerPC? A lot of talk here about it. How important is PowerPC?
Well, it's a major focus because PowerPC has a big tent out front. You can go in and see all kind of machines running PowerPC applications, and they want to try to make a very strong statement. But this is still really a Windows and Intel world, and that's where the real big focus is on this year.
Well, is Intel really under attack? We've got Cyrix, AMD, Next Gen, PowerPC, all going after Intel.
Yeah, and especially the new Pentium clones that'll come out from Cyrix and Next Gen and all of the AMD guys that are really ganging up against Intel. And it'll be real interesting to see because that should cause the prices to go down, which means that Intel will have to respond with lower Pentium prices, which means that next year will be a very good year for Pentium in general.
Lots of innovation here, Tim, in the area of mobile computing and wireless in particular, right?
Yeah, there's a big theme here for portability and mobility. DEC has a new product out with this interesting little wedge. Toshiba's won big rewards here for the Protege. And the other thing is wireless. This is the first year that wireless technology is really solid. We've got CD-PD modems in a Type 2 format from PCMCIe cards to the Ericsson Mobidem in a Type 2 format. And wireless is now more of a real promise than before.
Okay, let's go down to the floor and see what's new at Comdex 94 here in Las Vegas. They've been coming here since 1979. Computer industry manufacturers, vendors, resellers, and dealers, all looking for the latest hardware and software products to woo the computer consumer. Comdex is the one place where you can find virtually everything from everyone. The big companies, the startups, the Silicon Valley folks, and the high-tech innovators from countries around the world. But it's not all business. WordPerfect and Novell brought in singer Tony Bennett to serenade its favored customers.
I looked at you and suddenly...
US Robotics hosted a Monday night football party. And Prodigy hosted the head of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children as part of its campaign to track down missing kids, both online and on the sides of NASCAR race cars. Comdex attracts the megastars of the computer industry. Andy Grove, CEO of Intel, was one of the keynoters, as was Microsoft founder Bill Gates, who essentially said, "You ain't seen nothing yet."
There is no slowing as we look at the next decade in terms of the processor speed or memory size or storage capabilities of these systems. And so it's really up to us to think, how do we want to take advantage of that?
How do you decide what's hot and what's not when there are more than 2,000 computer products to look at? You get some help from Byte Magazine, which presents the best of Comdex awards to help everyone else figure out what's really new here. The Byte Awards highlighted the importance of the growing online mania, with several communications products getting the nod, like InternetWorks, a new user-friendly front end for the Internet from Bookling Technologies, which won the award for Best New Product from a New Company. Byte's award for overall Best New Product at Comdex 94 went to the new ThinkPad 755C notebook computer from IBM. It's a multimedia desktop screamer that fits in your briefcase. The most talked about computer product at Comdex isn't even out yet. In fact, no one can tell you when you'll be able to buy it. Yet virtually everyone here concedes that when it does come out, it will probably be the biggest selling software package in history. The headliner here at Comdex 94 is Windows 95.
Well, Windows 95 actually will be the most important operating system in calendar year 95. Microsoft means to position that as their predominant operating environment. And this is the first operating system that Microsoft has that doesn't have DOS built into it. Even though it has DOS compatibility, it's a clean, brand new operating system.
Microsoft has become the king of Comdex. Build a booth and they will come. Crowds mobbed the various Microsoft exhibits and anything that had a sign saying Windows 95. In fact, more than 200 software developers were boasting support for the new version of Windows. For example, WordPerfect has a new version of its word processor designed specifically to take advantage of Win95's 32-bit multi-threading. SoftKey is launching a new version of PFS WindowWorks for Win95. Version 3.0 includes a clip art organizer and 32-bit OLE support. But one of the hottest new Windows applications is sitting inside Windows itself, the new Microsoft Online Service, codenamed Marvel, and now officially called the new Microsoft Network. Bill Gates used his Comdex platform to tout the new Microsoft Online Service.
The rich software that we've written to support this network, we feel that it's through that initial software and the constant improvements we'll be able to make to that, that we ought to be able to bring something very unique here and really grow the market to make this a market that virtually everybody who has a PC finds it attractive, at least to do something, whether it's to learn more about their applications, send mail to their relatives, go up and see the news. These should be things that are very, very compelling.
The other online providers are a little nervous about the Microsoft Network since Microsoft is bundling network access into Win95. PC Week editor-in-chief Dan Farber says that could be a significant competitive advantage.
Microsoft ships a network with every computer. Does that give it a competitive advantage over other companies who also ship online services? And time will tell with that one.
One of the major benefits of the new Windows platform is its ability to support multimedia, and many software vendors were launching new products to take advantage of that. Media Suite Pro is a new digital video editor for Windows from Avid. It lets you create professional quality videos on a desktop PC. Avid's new digital editor lets you easily cut and paste video clips with virtually instant access to all your video material. Media Suite will be available in early 1995 for about $10,000. Another new benefit in Windows 95 is its plug-and-play capability. PC Week's Dan Farber says plug-and-play may finally bring Macintosh simplicity to the Windows platform.
In the sense that plug-and-play, which is a new initiative that's coming from Intel and Microsoft and other companies, will allow you to plug in peripherals more easily and allow software to detect what's going on in the system much easier. That's a huge benefit. That's something that's been enjoyed on the Apple platform for several years now.
But if you're still not sure you need the new version of Windows, look at this. A new watch from Timex called the Data Link. Just point it at your Windows 95 screen and it can download data from your PC with a sensor that sees the quick changes in light pulses coming off your computer display. Wireless communications for about $130. But Comdex wasn't just a Microsoft show. The general consensus here was that IBM was starting to make progress with its new version of OS/2 called Warp. Warp claims to do everything that the new Windows can do, and it's available now.
Everything that Win95 hopes to be, you can have today. Everything NT wanted to be, wasn't. Everything Win95 hopes to be, shipping in Warp right now. Plus, it's a third-generation revision. It's stable, it's refined, it's robust, it's tuned, and it's got thousands of applications.
OS/2 Warp has all the features of the earlier OS/2 version, but it can run in just 4 megabytes of RAM. IBM is hoping the new upgrade of OS/2 will find a warm reception in the home and Soho market.
The predominant success of OS/2 has been in large enterprises. They've written what they consider the killer apps, which are the way they automate their business. And the users in enterprises use OS/2 today to run the business. Now, what we're doing is taking that same set of capabilities and moving them now to an end user size and performance so you can have those benefits in your home. You can get on the internet. You can do multimedia. All those capabilities now in a size and a package that runs on your desktop and on your laptop.
But despite IBM's progress with Warp, most analysts and even some IBM insiders concede that Windows will continue to be the dominant operating environment.
Warp is just now shipping. IBM is very committed to it. They believe that's the right desktop operating system. They believe it's got the best multitasking capabilities, and they'll continue to push that. But I don't, given the Win95 push, I don't think that it will have as much of an impact on the market as Windows will.
Warp is definitely an improvement over what they had, but it still boils down to the number of applications that are supported on the platform. And right now, we're not seeing a lot of progress in that area. And Windows 3.1 and Windows 95, no matter when it shipped, has tremendous momentum and tremendous ISV support. For example, even before shipping, there are about 200 Windows 95 compliant applications in beta tests being shown here at Comdex. So it's pretty clear that the momentum will still be in Microsoft's favor, but that doesn't mean that Warp or System 7, for that matter, can't gain some incremental share among specific constituencies.
So it looks like for now, Microsoft is firmly in control of your software platform, but what about hardware? Next up, the CPU wars. Intel is giving away software to entice people to come in and hear their Pentium story. The giant chip maker is under pressure as never before as the PowerPC Alliance, Cyrix, AMD, and NextGen attempt to challenge their dominance inside your computer.
PowerPC is a legitimate chip. And what's really important that as you go into 32-bit operating systems, if you look at the pricing structure right now, the PowerPC still has the advantage. What we don't know is how much the pricing impact will take with the Cyrix and AMD clones coming in. So they could possibly bring that Pentium price down even more drastically so that the PowerPC doesn't have quite the pricing advantage it had in 1994.
The problem with PowerPC is that it will very quickly run software that doesn't exist. And I'm afraid that the software makers don't have a lot of interest in investing precious development resources in less than 1% of the market. So we don't have any expectation that PowerPC will be a commercial success in the business and home markets.
But IBM thinks otherwise. Big Blue says it will ship its PowerPC computer early in 1995, and that running OS/2, the IBM PowerPC, will be a far more powerful machine than the Macintosh. IBM is not thrilled with the idea that the only PowerPC on the market now is a Mac.
That's why we're working so hard on OS/2, is we don't want that to happen. We think that OS/2 on the PowerPC will offer dramatic performance and capability of applications you can't get on a Macintosh. Macintosh is not preemptively multitasked. It's 32-bit, but you can't do multiple things at once like you can in OS/2, and you can't get the foreground-background interactions right so that you'll be communicating while you're getting responsive word processing, for example. OS/2 is going to give you all of that in the size and space of a PowerPC that fits on your desk or on your lap.
But IBM had better hurry up. There are clone makers out there who are already showing off IBM-compatible PowerPC computers. The Taiwanese company Mytek demonstrated its new PPC 6000 computer, and Taiwan's largest computer manufacturer, Tatung, was showing off its OEM version of a PowerPC computer. This is another PowerPC clone from Taiwan's Firepower Systems. The MX4100 model is being designed for Canon. But IBM isn't putting all its eggs in the PowerPC basket. This is the Tangent NX5 P90 computer system. It uses a new NX586 chip produced by IBM in association with NextGen. It is the first CPU to combine x86 compatibility with the speed of RISC architecture. The NX586 chip is priced about the same as Intel's Pentium. This 90 MHz multimedia system using the new IBM chip retails for under $2,200. PC Week editor-in-chief Dan Farber says these new chips are definitely putting pressure on Intel, but that overall it's a good thing for the end user.
Well, there are two issues. One is being attacked on the x86 architecture by companies like NextGen and Cyrix and AMD. Now, in that case, they're going to get some incremental share. And I think it's important because it will help create lower cost computers and make Intel a little more competitive in terms of its pricing structure and faster to evolve its architecture. Now, as we go out over time, the RISC architectures have, technically it seems, some capabilities and scalability that are superior to what Intel has today. However, there's an initiative from HP and Intel for a next generation. We're talking about the year 2000, and they have a lot of milestones to meet on that project. At the same time, no one ever counts Intel out.
Intel is also being attacked on its Pentium flank by Cyrix. Their new M1 chip is a Pentium clone that features superscalar architecture and 32 registers compared to Intel's 8. Cyrix says that means M1 will outperform Pentium.
The M1 and all of Cyrix microprocessors were designed from the ground up, completely original designs. And they were intended to bring higher performance and higher price performance to market than some of the competitive products, all of which share a common design base. So Cyrix is really the only alternative unique design in the market today.
Computers using the Cyrix M1 chip are due on the market in early 1995. Coming up next, the latest in mobile computing technology. This is what it's all about, getting from point A to point B without wires. Whether you use a cell phone or a satellite dish, what we all want to do is communicate without being tied down by cables.
What we want to do is be able to get our email, to get our messages, to get whatever we need to do done no matter where we're at. We want to receive information, we want to send information. And so when you talk about portable computing or wireless computing, those are all major infrastructure steps that start getting us to the place where we can compute anytime, anywhere, any place.
The latest attempt is the Simon handheld personal communicator designed by IBM for Bell South. It's basically a cellular phone with a built-in touchscreen that adds calendar, notepad, email, and fax functions. Sharp has been successful with its Wizard Oz 6500. You can fax with it, but it's not wireless, nor does it have voice phone functions. The latest entry into the handheld field is the Sony Magic Link. It comes with a built-in voice phone and modem, a very easy-to-use graphical interface, and the ability to directly send handwritten notes via AT&T's Personal Link network.
Well, what we looked at is how people use electronic devices as they travel on their business. They tend to use a laptop today. Maybe 80% of the reason they'll use it is for messaging, to check their email, to log into an online service. So we've tried to make that task of electronic messaging much simpler with a very easy-to-use user interface, using your finger, your pen, handwriting a note, and actually sending that script as ink to the people you communicate with. I'm finding about 50% of the messages I send and receive now are just quick handwritten notes.
But Sony Magic Link is not wireless, and Tim Baharin says that's the key to a successful personal communications device. The solution may soon be coming in a new wireless standard called CD-PD.
The number one thing is CD-PD. This is this new wireless technology for cellular digital, that is going to be expanded all across the country and should be all across the country set up by the end of '95. And because of the CD-PD setup, we should be able to get clear digital signals for data. And because of the new modems that are going to be available after the first of the year, that's the first real change in the infrastructure.
And there were several companies showing off new CD-PD devices, including Cirrus and Trimble. CD-PD stands for Cellular Digital Packet Data, and one of the leaders in this new field may be Macaw Cellular.
You don't dial phone numbers and listen to the modem go through its tones and paste up a connection. You're always connected, so you send the data whenever you would like. And because you're always connected, we certainly wouldn't charge you for minutes. That would be quite exorbitant. So the cost for this type of a network can be based on a lot of things. It could be based on the amount of data you send, like kilobytes or thousands of bytes. It could also be based on a flat rate service. So we could say simple messaging, for example, could cost in the order of $35 to $45 a month for all the messages you'd like to send.
Zenith demonstrated another type of wireless device, the Cruise Pad. It's a wireless network terminal that uses something called spread spectrum technology. With the Cruise Pad, you can walk around your office building and always be connected to your company network. Cruise Pad is due out in early 1995. Hewlett-Packard took its shot at helping the mobile worker with its new OmniShare. This is a kind of interactive fax machine that lets two people work on the same electronic document and talk to each other at the same time using one standard analog phone line. If you had just one simple wish as a mobile computer user, it would probably be for a battery that lasts for more than 2 hours. Several notebook makers are promising just that. This is the Latitude XP notebook from Dell. It uses new lithium-ion battery technology that gets you 7 hours on one charge. And this is the new Essentia 900N notebook from AST. It also boasts 7 hours of battery life. Both the AST and the Dell machines are priced at around $3,000. The other push in notebooks is for smaller and lighter. Digital launched its first notebook computer, the HighNote Ultra 486. This baby is only 1 inch thick and weighs in at just 3.5 pounds. But if power is what you want in a portable, check out this Tadpole P1000. It sports a 100 megahertz Pentium chip. The price is around $7,000. If you want multimedia in your briefcase, this is a new laptop from NTK, a Korean company. It comes with a built-in double-speed CD-ROM drive. If presentations is your thing, then you might be interested in the RTI Color Notebook. The display screen is detachable and turns into an LCD presentation panel for use with an overhead projector. And if you want sound and music with your presentation, you can do that easily using your PCMCIA slot. This is MediaVision's 16-bit stereo sound card, also handy when playing games on the road. Coming up next, the input revolution at Comdex 94. There are lots of high-tech things you can do with a watch, like download files from your computer, keep track of your calendar and your phone numbers. But have you ever heard of a high-tech ring? This is the Ring mouse from Spectrum. It's a wireless mouse that you wear on your finger, and with it you can completely control your computer.
Well, certainly I expect that the pointing devices will evolve towards being more three-dimensional. We live in a 3D space, and it's only natural that we will see the user interface, the paradigm used on the computer, evolve towards more of a three-dimensional user interface. And so once you go in that direction, obviously you want to use a pointing device which is able to operate in 3D.
The Ring mouse from Spectrum does operate in 3D. The new TrackMan Live mouse from Logitech uses radio waves to provide you with wireless control of your computer from as far away as 30 feet. Keyboards are changing too. Microsoft showed off its new ergonomic keyboard, and MaxiSwitch unveiled a multimedia keyboard with built-in sound card and stereo speakers. The MaxiSound multimedia keyboard also comes with a built-in microphone and volume control. The integrated keyboard cable splits off into the appropriate PC ports. For kids, there was the Comfy keyboard, large, colorful keys that are easy to use for little fingers. The Comfy keyboard comes bundled with interactive storytelling software that takes advantage of the special keys. Touchscreen is back as an input modality. MicroTouch showed off a very durable touchscreen that is virtually indestructible. And the company also came out with a new Privacy Shield touchscreen, which is only visible to the user standing directly in front of the screen. There's also a pen option on the MicroTouch screen. Away from the clamor of the convention floor, NCR and Scriptel were giving private demonstrations of their new Right Touch technology, again allowing input by finger or cordless pen. Scriptel thinks the advent of Windows 95 will mean increased support for pen computing.
I think what's going to happen with Windows 95 is going to be more focused on creating the pen as an input device for all computers, not a pen computer that replaces a keyboard.
Scriptel's Right Touch technology is being OEM'd to several hardware manufacturers for 1995 product launches. Other input devices on display at Comdex included foot pedals, barcode scanners, and voice.
A demonstration of a very large.
Protec, a company from Singapore, unveiled a talking fax board. Call it up on the telephone and it can read your faxes to you.
I am extremely interested in the product, media with a electrical fax that you are launching.
And if you're worried about fax security, let your Snoopy colleagues read this one. This is a scrambled fax using new technology from Alaru, an Israeli company. To read the fax, just scan it through an ordinary fax machine using Alaru's descrambling software, and it becomes legible. The software even comes with a warning sign to hang over your fax machine. CD-ROM hardware and software were of course big at this Comdex. On the hardware side, quadruple-speed CD drives were everywhere. Plextor set up this race to demonstrate the speed and accuracy of their new 4X CD-ROM drive. And Panasonic introduced the first reasonably priced rewritable CD-ROM system. It too is a 4X speed drive. A German company called Noveka showed off a CD-ROM drive that comes with a built-in Sound Blaster card. No need to tie up a slot. And real full-motion video is clearly coming to CD-ROMs. IPC showed off its new MPEG mastering system that gives you 30 frames per second video on a quad-speed drive. Perhaps the most innovative new serious software here at Comdex was Go Figure from a company called Villa Crespo. It is basically a spreadsheet without cells.
Unlike spreadsheets, Go Figure is freeform. It has no cells, no columns, no rows. And it's a graphical user interface that allows you to solve your problems by simply defining the problem inside what we call electronic paper. And you can define your problem in a variety of ways from any end you want. Once you have laid down the components of the problem, Go Figure automatically comes up with the solution.
And if you want to print out your solution in color on the road, how about this new Citizen PN60 portable printer? Yes, it prints in color, and yes, it weighs only 1 pound. Finally, if you're just spending too much time at your computer, this is what you need, the new touch massager, perhaps the most welcome technology at Comdex 94. That's our report from Las Vegas. For the Computer Chronicles, I'm Stewart Cheifet.